Good evening. I would like to call the Folsom Cordova Unified School District meeting to order for October 16th. Roll.
Ms. Larrett?
Here.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Here.
Mr. Reed? Mr. Chalam-Churla?
Here.
Mr. Clark?
Right, in just a moment, we are going to be recessing for closed session for student matters, employer-employee relations, conference with legal counsel, conference with real property negotiators, and personnel matters. Are there any public comment?
There are no public comments.
All right, then we will recess.
Awesome.
I'd like to call this meeting back to order. October 16th, Folsom Cordova Unified School District School Board meeting. Rochelle, take roll.
Yes. Ms. Lopez-Petracca?
Here.
Ms. Luong?
Here.
Ms. Larrett?
Here.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Here.
Mr. Reed? Mr. Chalam-Churla?
Here.
And Mr. Clark?
Do you want to say anything? Note for the record.
Please note for the record, Board Member Reed is absent and Board Member Clark.
Yeah, I'll say a couple. Thank you so much. I wanted to make sure everyone knew that Board Member Clark is at a speaking engagement for his work, and he will be here probably within 10 minutes, so you'll see him come in. And then Mr. Reed asked me to read a short statement for the board and the community and his constituents. Board Member Reed extends his regrets as he will not be able to attend tonight's meeting due to business travel. Although in transit, he wanted the public to know that he will be watching the board meeting live on YouTube. So that's all.
Thank you. All right, land acknowledgement.
As the Folsom Cordova Unified School District, we acknowledge that our administrative facilities and schools occupy the unceded territory of the Nishanan and Miwok, the original people of the skies, land, and waters where we work and learn.
We also recognize the presence and ancestral stewardship of the Nishanan ancestral tribes, the Esto Notamuse and Nishim Pewanan to the north.
And the Miwok ancestral tribes and the Amakumne, Consumne, Hopumne, and Makolmne to the south along the Great Sacramento River system since time immemorial.
We understand that this land upon which our institutions are built was once flourishing with natural resources and sustained by the ancestral knowledge and practices of these indigenous communities. We acknowledge the injustices of colonialism and attempted genocide that have impacted these communities and recognize the resilience of their descendants who continue to thrive today.
In our daily endeavors of teaching, learning, leadership, and community engagement, we commit to supporting and respecting and honoring their culture, traditions, and life ways. We pledge to work together for the evolving vision of the Miwok and Nishanan, especially for all future generations.
If we can stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. A broadcast and recording is being made at the direction of the board, and the broadcast may capture images and sounds of those attending the meeting. Tonight's meeting is being live streamed on the district's YouTube channel. The recording will be cablecast as replay on Metro Cable Channel 14, the local government affairs channel, on the Comcast and DirecTV Uverse cable systems. The recording will also be closed captioned and video streamed at metro14live.saccounty.gov. Folsom Cordova Unified School District Board Policy 1313 promotes mutual respect, civility, and orderly conduct among employees, parents, and the public. We will treat staff, parents, and members of the public with respect and ask the same in return. If any member of the public uses obscenities or communicates in a demanding, loud, insulting, and/or demeaning manner, the board will calmly and politely admonish the person to communicate civilly. Public comments during the board meeting are an important component of public engagement and transparency. Members of the public will not be permitted to yield their speaking time to another member of the public. All written comments submitted by 2 p.m. today to the board have been read. Per the Brown Act, the board is not allowed to enter into a two-way discussion on any matter not on the agenda. Great. First thing we have is District Recognition Month, LGBT History Month.
Good evening, members of the Board of Trustees and Superintendent Swanson. We are grateful for the opportunity to speak with you this evening. As we celebrate LGBT History Month, we'll reflect on the rich history of the LGBT community in the United States and honor the many ways lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender people continue to contribute to and strengthen our communities. I'm Jennifer Santos, kindergarten teacher at White Rock.
And I'm Christina Cook, Curriculum and Instruction Specialist in SEL and Equity. We are both founding members of Folsom Cordova's Equity Leader Group, and we are really honored to be here.
Is that on?
Yeah, I turned it on.
Oh, there it goes. Okay. LGBT voices have often been silenced. This quote shows the resilience of so many in the LGBT community. Zanel Moholy is a South African artist and visual activist working in photography, video, and installation.
Rodney Wilson was the first openly gay history teacher at a Missouri public high school. He founded the first community to recognize the history and contributions of LGBT people. In 1994, it was added to the list of NEA, the National Education Association's commemorative months. And then in 1995, during the month of October each year, we honor notable LGBT individuals and their rights movement.
Prior to a formal month, LGBT activism and awareness were marked through local events, often around the anniversary of the Stonewall riots, which happened in June of 1969, and catalyzed the modern LGBT rights movement. In October of 1994, the first U.S. LGBT History Month was observed. October was chosen to coincide with National Coming Out Day, which is on October 11th, reinforcing visibility and awareness. It's different than Pride Month, which happens in June. Pride Month is about finding joy in LGBT identity, whereas LGBT History Month recognizes the contributions, struggles, and achievements of members of the LGBT community. Starting in 1995, schools, universities, and organizations began incorporating curricula and events focused on LGBT history, gradually gaining recognition among local governments, libraries, and professional organizations.
And then in 2006, President George W. Bush became the first president to formally recognize LGBT History Month in a White House proclamation. Beginning in the 2010s, the month became widely recognized in U.S. educational institutions with themes for each year that focus on different aspects of LGBT history and achievements. We honor that LGBT History Month was first established to recognize and celebrate the contributions, the struggles, and the resilience of the LGBT community at a time when their stories were often erased or ignored. It was created as a movement to increase visibility, foster understanding, and build solidarity, paving the way for broader inclusion of other identities within the community, the Q, the I, the A, and the plus. This year's theme, the 2025 theme, is activism and social change. This speaks to the many contributions that LGBT communities and individuals have made towards social change, always focused on advancing equity for all people. For example, did you know that women gained the ability to have their own bank account due to the activism of a trans woman?
Audre Lorde embodied the concept of intersectional feminism. She was a lesbian writer, a mother, a poet, and an activist. She fought racism, sexism, and homophobia by giving voice to others facing oppression and marginalization.
Larry Kramer Larry Kramer was an activist, writer, and playwright. He co-founded the Gay Men's Health Crisis and ACT UP to support people with HIV and AIDS. He has inspired LGBTQIA+ pride and activism through his courage. He stood up for the LGBT community when it was not widely acceptable to do so.
Once again, thank you for the opportunity to present about LGBT History Month.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have our secondary school spotlight, Mills Middle School.
Good evening, Vice President Lofthouse, Superintendent Swanson, fellow board members. I'm Dana Kerrigan. I'm the principal at Mills Middle School. And tonight, you are going to learn a little bit about what it's like in the life of a student at Mills. So with me, I'd like to introduce our student body president, Catherine Bai, and our student body historian, Evie Schimel.
Thank you, Principal Kerrigan, for that introduction. Without further ado, I'd like to get into the academics at Mills. There we go. Sorry. We have a buddy program at Mills to help students who need more support. It's really amazing to see them at PE and around the hallways getting the support they need. Additionally, we have a bilingual program because a lot of our students, English is their second language. So it's also really cool to see the support they get from the teachers and faculty around campus, academic-wise. Another thing we have at Mills is called Flex. It's on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And Tuesday and Wednesdays are interventions where students can get extra help. And on Fridays, we have fun activities like football, painting, Christian club, science club, and many more activities for. We just finished our girls volleyball season, which both me and Catherine were athletes on the team, and we also just finished up our cross country season. A lot of our athletes improved their time by like 8 minutes. It was really amazing to see all of the growth. And just today they held girls soccer tryouts and boys basketball tryouts. We have Where Everyone Belongs, aka WEB, where 8th graders like Evie and I help mentor 6th graders and get them around Mills. As for our electives, we have arts, where they like to focus on a lot of different mediums like oil pastels, paintings, sculptures, like right now, where they're building props for movies. We have music, beginning and advanced strings, band, and drumline. We do have a concert coming up November 19th, Wednesday at Cordova High. It's at 6 p.m. and you guys are all invited. My absolute favorite thing about Mills is the culture. Everyone there is so diverse and they come from so many different backgrounds, and I think that's just so amazing to see. Just like that, we just got out of Hispanic Heritage Month. We had Spirit Week honoring different types of dressing up. We had music, face painting. Right now, we're in Filipino Heritage Month, where leadership students like me and Catherine will go up to do morning announcements. Like just yesterday, I highlighted Dee Dee Magno Hall. She's a voice actor in many popular video games, TV shows, and movies. Speaking of Hispanic Heritage Month, our counselors hold fun lunchtime activities like for Hispanic Heritage Month and Filipino Heritage Month. They are like a great support staff and they help the whole student body. So I'm so thankful for them. We also do have a PBIS recognition for 2 years in a row. We have a rally coming up tomorrow, and we have Student of the Quarter, I believe, next week. And we have our 5 Ps.
Prompt, prepared, polite, positive, and productive.
On our shirts.
Thank you so much, board.
Thank you.
You guys don't get to go yet. We get to pepper you with a bunch of really hard questions. For real, come on back. Come on back. So, yeah. No, I mean for real. Yes, absolutely, Dana. I'm not serious about the really hard questions, but the board sometimes trustees sometimes have a few questions for the students. You might not, but we also then take a picture. So you can't, yeah.
Any questions from the board?
What's the date of the concert again?
The date of the concert is November 19th. It's a Wednesday at Cordova High, 6 p.m.
Okay, thank you.
I don't have a question, more of a comment. I'm really excited about the counseling tables. I haven't seen that before, and I think that's, I think that's such an exciting thing because a lot of times it is just a quick question, and I know our counselors are very stretched, so I think that's like an amazing idea to just kind of really get in with the students and really build that relationship with them. And I think kids will be much more likely to go see their counselor when they have like a bigger issue because it's a familiar face instead of just being in the office. So I really appreciate the staff getting out and getting amongst the students and things like that. So amazing idea. I'm like very excited about it. Thank you.
We love our counselors
Yeah,
so much.
they're
They help us
really
with
helpful.
everything.
I was talking to Dr. Pitt, who's over here, about counseling teams today, and that actually is an innovative idea that we may need to spread across all of our secondary schools. So if we do, we'll make sure to give Mills credit. So great stuff.
Right. No, thank you for sharing about them.
Of course.
Thank you so
Yes,
much.
absolutely. Tomorrow is you said a rally?
Yes.
Okay.
And on slide 8, we don't need to go back to it. There's a beautiful oil painting in a parking spot. Whose parking spot is that?
So we do a staff recognition each month, and we call it Marigold of the Month.
Yes.
And you've probably heard that story about the marigold and the oak tree, et cetera. And so we do staff recognition, and staff nominate other staff members, and then we have a committee who make the selection each month. And if you've been to Mills lately, you know there's nowhere to park. And so we had our art class paint a marigold parking spot last spring. And so if you get Marigold of the Month, you get that parking spot up front every month for the whole month.
Amazing. Thank
And
you
a
for sharing.
beautiful marigold painting that you display in your room.
That's great.
Yeah.
You guys ready for a picture?
Awesome.
Perfect. Perfect timing, President Clark, for a picture.
Thank you, guys.
Absolutely, I know. All right, we're gonna have this side moved in just a little bit more like this. Yeah. All right, super. Okay, look here, please. All right, that looks great. Okay, does anybody else want to take a picture? Okay, good, all right.
Small space right there.
Reporting out a closed session.
All right. Sorry I'm late. I had a speaking engagement, so I'll be a little raspy. Reporting out a closed session.
Mr. President, welcome. Nothing to report.
Thank you. All right. Item 6, adoption of agenda.
I'll move.
A second?
Moved by Board Member Laird, second by Board Member Charlam-Chella. Ms. Rochelle?
Yes. Ms. Lopez Petracca? Aye. Ms. Luong?
Aye.
Ms. Larrett?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Mr. Charlam-Chella?
Aye.
And Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
Thank you, ma'am. Item number 7, agenda consent.
Yes, Mr. President, we'd like to pull item I, approve expulsion recommendation case number 2526-1S to allow student board members to abstain.
Thank you, ma'am. Any other items to be pulled?
Yes, we would also like to pull item J,
Approve extended field trip request, Folsom High School's jazz band to New York City, New York,
All right,
based on public comment.
based on public comment. All right, thank you, ma'am. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move.
Moved by Board Member Lofthouse,
And second?
second by Board Member Charlam-Chella. Ms. Rochelle?
Yes, Ms. Lopez Petracca?
Aye.
Ms. Luong?
Aye.
Ms. Larrett?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Mr. Chalem-Churla?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
All right. First item to be pulled was item I, approve expulsion recommendation case number 2526-1S. Superintendent?
Yeah, I mean, this is a consideration from closed session, and I just want to remind our student board members that you will need to abstain from this vote.
Any,
I'll move.
thank you, ma'am.
I'll second.
Second by, first, motion made by Board Member Lofthouse, second by Board Member Larrett. Ms. Rochelle?
Yes, Ms. Lopez Petracca?
Abstain.
Ms. Luong?
Abstain.
Ms. Larrett?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Mr. Chalem-Churla?
Mine is I, but I just want to make the comment as a board members here, we discuss so deep about the expulsions. We don't want to send any kids, but in can't but conditions, we got to let that kid go. So I just want to make that comment, and mine is I.
And Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
Thank you, ma'am. Next item up, I believe, was item J, and that was from a
Parent comment?
public comment, yes. We'll welcome any public comments.
Mr. Smith?
Good evening, President Clark, Board, Mr. Swanson. If you guys can actually look at this, you click on it and actually see. Last year, you guys voted on Jen, and I brought up that all students were allowed to go. And you guys found that concerning and said, we want to make sure all students get to go. But you know what happened afterward? They said, okay, yeah, all students get to go, but still the teacher influenced, so only A band got to go. If you look at the page 1, it says type of field trip. Enrichment field trip, student may be responsible for admission, so forth. Linkage to curriculum, festival competition, and clinic at Lincoln Center. This is the Duke Ellington. Duke Ellington had violin in his jazz band. Only A band's getting to go. Only A band's getting to perform. So even if you say, oh, okay, let the other students go, they don't get to perform. And so when Faith was in the school and I was trying to address the jazz violin, what band did they say, okay, she can be in? The C band with the freshmen. Faith got a message the other day from a lady that's, she's a doctor at Northern Texas. Violin player, jazz violin player. She's advocating for violin. All college students. She doesn't know Faith in high school. Invited her to go to Jen. I was gonna see if you wanna come with us. This is supposed to be for education. Mr. Swanson, I met with you. When you first came in, I met with you. You said you would address this. We've got fees issues going on where the teacher's double dipping. You got a teacher, who's the next person adult authorized to go? Miss Williams' husband. So you got a teacher that threw a drumstick at a student, retaliates again, CDE rule her actions retaliation. You got the new lady who came up under Sac State, so under her press of thumb.
30 seconds remaining, please.
And look at all these issues we're having in the community. What is the main issue I've been addressing? Safety. So you're gonna trust this woman to bring these kids to New York with this kind of history? and the scrutiny Faith has dealt with of trying to play violin in the jazz band when they guys have had jazz violin in the past, which that student was able to get a scholarship and go to college and study jazz violin. You guys excluded Faith.
Thank you, Mr. Smith.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments?
No others have been received.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Back to the board. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move.
Moved by Board Member Charlton. Second? Anyone?
Second.
Second by Board Member Larrett. Ms. Rochelle?
Ms. Lopez Petracca?
Aye.
Ms. Wong?
Aye.
Ms. Larrett?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse? Aye. Mr. Chalem-Churla?
Aye.
And Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
Thank you, ma'am. All right. We are down to item 8, special presentations. I see there is none under students. However, we do have a staff recognition guardian award. Superintendent.
Yes, Mr. President, this has been promoted through your leadership, and we really appreciate it. I think you want to honor one of our assistant basketball coaches at Folsom High School.
Yes, sir. All right, just wanted to take a moment to recognize a colleague of mine, a basketball coach at Folsom High School. And I know that some of you are aware of what happened a couple of weeks ago. But I'm going to tell you, if it wasn't for the insight and the attentiveness of Mr. Baker, we don't know what would have happened. So I honestly want to thank Mr. Baker for, is he here?
Yeah, I see him right there.
And Coach Wall came out as well. There we go, yeah.
For what he did. Mr. Baker, if you can come up to the podium, I'd like to recognize you personally for what you did. And like I said, your hindsight and attentiveness to the situation. I'm not sure if you have anything to say. Don't be shy.
I just want to thank the administration of Folsom High School. While I was on the phone with 911, the principal was locking down the remainder of the school. The vice principal was on cameras tracking me walking the guy out. The responsiveness of Folsom PD, while I was still on the phone with 911, 2.5 minutes after I placed the phone call, the first 2 police officers were on scene. So big thank you to the administration of Folsom, all the coaches on campus, the players of the team, and Folsom PD.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. And I did forget to mention, I want to thank Folsom PD for their quick response. You know, sometimes it takes them a minute, but they were there, I mean, like that. So I appreciate them, and I actually appreciate the administration. Mr. Cadenhead, I think, was there as well. So we do have a certificate for you. I'm not sure if the board or anybody has any other comments.
I would just like to say, really well said, Mr. Baker. It's almost like you're an elected official.
I am on a school board.
Yes, we do know that. And on that note, I have something else to say, because I saw that school board honor you. And there was something Superintendent Martinez said at the very end, oh, we're always first. And I just wanted to say, because this is being recorded, well, we saved the best for last. So we're glad to honor you today. So,
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, any other comments from the board?
Mr. Baker, thank you, and thank you.
Thank you.
It's a big, big deal, safety. Thank you for being there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Well, it's photo time, if you don't mind, sir. We'll take a quick picture. And if I could just have everybody in the audience, please give him another round of applause.
Oh, that looks wonderful. Okay, up here, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, thank you so much.
All right. We'll go on to item 9. Public comment. Time will be given to the speakers at the discretion of the board chairperson. The law allows the public to address the board on any matter not on the agenda, but the law prohibits action by the board on non-agenda items. Ms. Rochelle.
Yes, we have some comments tonight. First up is Angelica Christensen, followed by Sonia Switters.
Good evening, Superintendent and School Board. My name is Angelica Christensen, and I have a student at Vista High School. And my first comment is regarding me asking you to provide greater oversight and transparency regarding what's happening at Vista in their math and science departments. A teacher audit may be necessary given the ongoing struggles students are experiencing with Ms. Moore in particular, the AP Physics teacher. My son dropped AP Physics this year due to the lack of effective instruction that he had heard from his classmates and friends. So now he has a regular physics next semester. But I understand that they had a meeting this morning at Vista. I wasn't able to attend. However, this is going to be an ongoing issue because my 8th grader will be attending Vista next year. And we'll be faced with the same dilemma if she continues the same path that she's been going on, having with students struggling. And if it's plenty of students struggling, obviously she's the common denominator. We need to look at her teaching methods. And I don't know what kind of auditing system you have for teachers or oversight. I've seen it before with new teachers, like in Spanish, for example, where if they didn't cut it after the year, they were gone, they left. So, also with that, the issue isn't limited to AP Physics. There's also AP Calculus, where the assigned teacher may be on paternity leave or maternity leave, and the substitute is knowledgeable in physics, not teaching calculus. And again, students struggle with the algorithm with the block scheduling. They may not always get math each semester. My son was placed in engineering technology last year, for example, and the teacher quit halfway through the semester. As a parent, we were not explained if they quit or were fired. We just knew that Dr. Grooms, the last 6 weeks of the semester, was present in the class. And, what they learned, I couldn't tell you. And that's a whole semester loss of academic instruction where our students could have taken a math or science class. But again, even if they tally it in their elective order of merit list or whatever you want to call it, it's not a guarantee. And that's why it's even more important it's tied to the honors math in middle school, how it affects the high school, because it's not a guarantee that they'll get math in high school. And unfortunately, counselor support has also been inconsistent, and teachers are aware of how difficult it is for students to get appropriate scheduling for help. For example, my son's friend is a junior, my son is also a junior, was mistakenly placed in 10th grade PE. Her father had to personally go to Vista High School every day for the first 2 weeks of school when they're allowed to do schedule changes. Who has the time as a parent to miss work and do this? You need to fix the system, it's broken. And, I understand we have a new principal, and I applaud him for being mobile and getting to know the students and communicating with parents. But we need your oversight. We need you to audit both the Vista scheduling and, how to hold teachers accountable. Bring in subject matter experts. Thank you for your time.
Sonia Switters, followed by Sanvika Pasmarthi.
Hello, my name is Sonia Switters, and I'm here representing what happened at Gallardo this week. I am a parent of 2 children that go there, and I am on the PTA. For everyone that doesn't know, I just kind of want to go through the timeline of what the parents went through this week and the role of the school district had with everything that we went through. On Monday at 4:20, we had a parent square notification saying that Kurt Taras was seen walking on campus and he had been detained. This obviously started parents talking about why was he on campus, his role in the Folsom High School incident with the guns and the shutdown, and that he was barred from campus. At that time, we didn't receive any other notification. It was a holiday. We were all just talking, thinking that he was in custody. And then more things started coming out about him, that he was going through a messy divorce, that he was possibly having a mental breakdown, that he was a man that was struggling. So all of these were red flags about possibly being a school shooter, basically. So at 9:41, some people had been notified that he was released. There was no notification from the school board that he had been released. All of the parents found out on their own. And of course, we started panicking. So are we sending our kids to school on Tuesday, knowing this man's address at this point? He lived 4 blocks away from Sandra Gallardo Elementary School, and he has access to guns. It also came out that he was a military vet and all of these other things. So at 7:45 the next morning, the school notified us that he had been released and just said that there would be increasing presence on school campus, but they did not clarify what that was at all. At 9 o'clock that morning, the district sent out a notification saying that he had been prohibited from all campuses and that we had surveillance and check-in protocols. But as a parent that has kids that go there, there are multiple entrances. Having one officer in the front, as many parents went and surveyed how much security presence was given that day, all we saw was one cop car. From the kinder side, there's an entrance. From the front alpha side, there's another entrance. And there's a backfield that can be easily scaled through Catlin Park. So that was unsatisfactory
30 seconds
as far
remaining,
as how
please.
much security that we saw. I personally did not send my kids there, and on Tuesday night, I Googled his address to his arraignment court address and saw that he would be driving by the TK playground, which is accessible from the street, to get to his court date at 1:30 p.m. on Wednesday. So none of us were satisfied with the communication that didn't come until 3 p.m. with a joint statement that gave additional info about
Thank you, Ms. Switters.
the police presence and the security officers. I just have to say that the parents would like to push having more security resource officers to cover safety, because Gallardo does not have a fence. Many of these schools do not have a fence, and we do not feel that there is adequate safety and security to keep the staff and kids that went to campus safe that day if there was an incident.
Thank you, Ms. Switters.
Thank you.
Next up is Pasumarthi, followed by Christina Maddox.
For the record, Ms. Rochelle, she is a student, correct? And we will allot her 4 minutes. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Sanvika Pasumarthi, and I'm a 7th grader currently going to Sutter Middle School. I'm here to talk to you today about something that me and my classmates find very important to our generation of student learners, which is keeping honors English in our schools. I'd like to tell you about my younger brother, who has been gifted with the opportunity of engaging in accelerated classes that match his ability, and I've seen firsthand how much he benefits from these. These classes help him grow as well as discover his abilities in these subjects, and so we cannot strip our students of the ability to grow better academically. Being in honors English as a 7th grader has ultimately given me the ability to succeed in my reading as well as my writing skills and implement them to benefit people around me. Throughout these classes, I have made new bonds from study partners to friends, and honors English has challenged me in a way that is unmatched by any other English class I've ever been faced with. Being in an accelerated class inspires me to participate to the best of my ability and to make every piece of work my greatest. Honors English may not be for everyone, as students thrive in different English environments and everyone has unique strengths. But for students like my brother and I, these classes are extremely crucial. And I believe that we shouldn't take away opportunities for young kids to express themselves and push their potential just because not every student fits that expectation. As a society, I believe that creativity in English needs to be nurtured in students like my brother and I. My older sister, who is now 16, has carried skills from Honors English that she has learned in middle school throughout her English path. Today, she succeeds in many high school classes using those fundamental skills she learned years ago, such as Honors English classes in high school, AP Lang, and AP Literature. Additionally, the basic skills that Honors English taught her has shaped her into a top national debater and has ultimately created her to become one of the best English students in many of her classes. And skills that honors students are brought by these classes can create a stable future for many of us to succeed. And so think about the message we're sending if we eliminate honors classes. Are we saying that it's okay for many of our accelerated students to settle for mediocrity? Are we telling students like my brother and me that our English goals aren't as important? We should be uplifting our society's generation of student learners, and we should encourage them to pursue their dreams in English classes. When we keep these classes, we can create a future where students feel the most welcome with their skill level. We need to keep the opportunity of growth that is slowly falling out of our grip. Thank you.
Christina Maddox, followed by Nicole Heine.
I don't know how I'm going to beat that. Good evening, Board President Clark, members of the board, and Superintendent Swanson. It's me again, Christina Maddox. I'm a parent of a 4th grader at Theodore Judah Elementary School. I'm here tonight because my daughter's class has gone 3 full months without a permanent teacher, 3 months of instability, 3 months of falling behind, 3 months without consistent instruction or leadership. A permanent teacher was finally hired, and she started this week. And she quit after 1 day, 1 single day. These kids come in full of hope. They were excited to finally have a teacher of their own. And by the next morning, she was gone. She quit. They were left feeling discarded, unimportant, and like they weren't worth sticking around for. It was heartbreaking. FCUSD's motto is miss a day, miss a lot. And that's true. But what happens when students miss weeks and months of structured lesson plans, genuine learning time? What happens when there's a constant rotation of substitutes and no stability? I'll tell you what happens. Behavior problems grow, learning stops, and kids begin to give up. And that's exactly what's happening in room 20 right now. My daughter she wanted to be here today, but she's a dedicated Folsom Junior Bulldogs cheerleader, so she has practice. But she wanted me to tell you that today in her class, there was a roasting session and a physical fight. She said this substitute had no control and was only asking them to be quiet. She was scared and worried it would get worse. Our kids deserve better. So tonight, I'm asking for immediate action. First, place a paraeducator in that classroom full-time to support substitutes and help restore order and learning. Second, most importantly, ensure a qualified, credentialed, permanent teacher is hired and retained immediately, someone equipped and supported so they can succeed long-term. And lastly, I have to ask, who will pay for my daughter's tutoring to catch up after 3 months with no consistency, no lesson plans, and no real instruction? Because someone needs to take accountability for this lost learning time. My child's education is not something that can be paused or patched together with a rotating door of substitutes. Every day that passes without a plan, without stability, is another day of learning loss. And as this district reminds us, miss a day, miss a lot. Well, my daughter has perfect attendance, never missed a day, but has missed a lot.
Thank you,
It's
Ms.
time
Maddox.
the district
30
makes it
seconds.
right. Thank you.
Nicole Heine, followed by Anne Marie Senior.
Good evening. This is my preview to the next board or item on the agenda. But when the math honors discussion began, I looked at the role of school boards. And the California School Board Association says it's a citizen oversight of local government, and it's the cornerstone of democracy in the US, which you probably all know, right? School board members are locally elected public officials entrusted with governing a community's public schools. The role is to ensure the school districts are responsive to the values, beliefs, and priorities of their communities. For months, we have been telling you the value of this community is on very good education, which we have been provided up until this point in time. But with the change in the honors math curriculums at the middle schools, that is no longer true. Board policy is to provide educational programs that provide students with opportunities to attain the skills, knowledge, and abilities they need to be successful in school and develop to their full potential, not just like, medium potential. Strategies for improving the educational program shall take into consideration the needs of individual students and subpopulations of students. We are not supposed to have a one-size-fits-all program. We have a very diverse population. And with that, we have the opportunity to support students in lots of different programs. And that has been a beautiful foundation of this school district. But with these changes, which we'll talk about more in a minute, that is no longer the case. I would not move to Folsom Cordova with the current math program that is being implemented. I would choose another district. There are plenty of other districts that still have honors places where you can make it to calculus, or I would be forced to buy a house in Vista Del Lago's boundaries, because Vista Del Lago, with their block schedule, still provides instruction in a classroom from kindergarten to Calculus BC for our students, but that will not be the case for all of the students that are zoned to attend Folsom High. I'm here for the students that have yet discovered their passion for mathematics. Maybe they have immigrant parents who have no idea that the only pathway to advanced math will be through private tutoring or online teaching themselves, so that they can make it to the accelerated pathway challenge
30
test.
30 seconds remaining, please.
Which is the only way to calculus for Folsom High students under this new program. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anne Marie Senior.
Ms. Rochelle, real quick, just as a reminder for the public, these public comments are for items that are not on the agenda. I know that it'll be item 11 that we'll have a discussion on the middle school math update. Proceed.
So, hello everyone, my name is Anne Marie Senior, and in addition to being a parent of 3 girls at Sandra Gallardo, I am a Folsom Cordova alumni. I had the great pleasure of going to Blanche Sprentz, Oak Chan, Folsom Middle School, and Folsom High School, and the district's commitment to our children's education as well as their physical and emotional well-being is one of the reasons I've chosen to come back and raise my family here. So I thank you for your dedication with that. Obviously, the events of this week at Sandra Gallardo, as well as in September at Folsom High School, are horrifying and remind us of the realities that we wish didn't exist in our community. Last week, my daughter, who's in TK, came home with this really funny story about how she went into the bathroom to read a story. And I was so grateful to the teachers who shielded her from the reality that that was a lockdown drill. Right? She had no idea. This week, she's aware, right? And I know if we were awash in funds, every school would have fences and all of the IT software that we could have, and that's not the reality that we live in. But I want to draw your attention to some of the critical safety gaps that exist at Sandra Gallardo. Sandra Gallardo, as you know, has no fence, right? But it has access from multiple sides. I would love a fence. I'm aware that that's very expensive. If we could look at least minimizing the number of access points that there are, the surveillance cameras are incredible, but that helps us after they've reached a door. And the doors are part of the biggest part of the reason why I'm here today. They do lock automatically when they close, but they do not close automatically 100% of the time. So the classes that have the pod structure have just a design flaw where the teacher workers have to go and physically pull the door to make sure that it closed, depending on the time of year or if another door is open. So if our safety plan relies on an overworked educator who's got their hands full to go and pull on the door, we've got a critical safety gap we've got to address, right? And I think that combined with looking at reducing the access points would help. The last two things I would ask that you consider is that the student care is right on the edge over by the street. They continue to keep, I think, about 40 students, including 3 of mine, right, far past the time that we have a number of people on campus. They don't have the same sort of protection that the rest of the classrooms have. And so I'd like to think about ways that we can ensure their safety. Their people had been
23
painted
seconds
over
remaining.
before, they've scratched the paint off, but we need to make sure they have a way to see what sort of dangers they're facing. The last thing I'd implore you to consider is there is technology that exists. We saw at Appalachia that they used a program called Centigex, I think that was like $8,000 a year, that allowed educators to use a lanyard and quickly alert people. There's probably others. I ask that you look into it for all schools.
Thank you, Ms. Senior. Next up, Earl Smith.
Good evening, President Clark, Board, Mr. Swanson, and I want to say I'm sorry. I made a mistake texting Faith, and you guys just voted on something that's actually not even in New York. It's in Utah. You should probably do your research. You guys didn't even have a discussion about it. You didn't even talk about it. You guys just voted. You know, actually, the whole past year, it's shifted. And the first time I started coming up here, it seemed like you guys would just talk about stuff, look into stuff. But now it's like you just totally disregard and just vote. The Central Ellington is actually in May. It's in New York. So I hate the fact that I had to waste 40 minutes of my time. I wanted to make a mention tonight to Mr. Reed, but he's not here. I didn't appreciate Mr. Reed posting on Facebook his own agenda about SROs. The issue with the SROs is not that police being on campus protecting the children and the staff. We all want that. Myself, Faith, we've complained because the SROs was used to scare children or to police children, is the way Mr. Ogden put it. I'm so glad he is no longer here. When people are discussing about fights and things like that at Rancho, and they want SROs to police children, that should not be the intent. We all want to keep our children safe, the community safe. I know what it's like to go through a legal battle, family court. People constantly file restraining orders against each other. I've had to get one against Faith's mother. I still have one currently. District doesn't abide by the court order that they order on my restraining order. I want to know, what was the threat made? I can't find that information. It changes a lot for me. Mental health. And don't get me wrong, I am very appreciative of Folsom Police and the steps they took to ensure, regardless. But at the same time, as a community, we can't be a witch hunt either. It's just heartbreaking. But if board members are going to use events like this that the public is scared to push an agenda, well, then I'm going to push on the cell phones, because I would rather my child have a cell phone. If there's something in danger, I can talk to her for one last second before she is injured or shot or killed. I think every parent would want that. But I don't think it's appropriate to push agenda like that over the fear of people. But if that's the case, board members are going to do that, maybe I should run. Thank you. And I really want to say thank you to the Folsom PD. I am really grateful for you guys.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. That is all the comments I've received, Mr. Clark.
Is that it for public comment?
Yes.
All right, thank you, ma'am. We will move on to item 10, report of district organizations. Student board members.
For SAB, we only have a podcast update with our communication officers, Ria and Miriam. They filmed a video at Vista, and they are in the works of editing it to be posted.
Yeah, the podcast episode is for, the theme is college applications. So Paris and Ria, Paris is a student from Vista and is on SAB. They had a conversation about college applications, and hopefully they are in the process of editing that, and it'll go out to students soon.
All right, thank you. California School Employees Association.
Good evening, board members, Superintendent Swanson. We have a chapter meeting next week where we will be MOU 38, left over from the end of last school year. MOUs 1, 2, 4, and 5 will all be up for ratification next Wednesday. We go back to the negotiating table on Wednesday 2. Article 8 is on the agenda, as well as update for upcoming subcommittee on doing job descriptions and hopefully streamlining that throughout the rest of the year. That's all I have right now. Have a good night.
All right, thank you, sir. Folsom Cordova Education Association. Thank you, ma'am. Folsom Cordova Leadership Association.
Good evening, President Clark, members of the board, and Superintendent Swanson. I'll be brief this evening, but I did want to point out something that was posted on FCUSD's website, or excuse me, Facebook page, in case anyone didn't know. This is School Administrator Week. And so just wanted to point out what the Facebook post said, because it was said very well. And we join the California Department of Education in celebrating the hardworking and dedicated school administrators who lead with vision, compassion, and commitment. From creating a positive school culture to supporting students, teachers, and families, their leadership shapes the foundation of our schools and empowers success every day. So to all the school administrators that may be watching and for all the hard work that they do every day, thank you very much. Thank you, everybody.
All right, thank you. District English Learner Advisory Committee.
No report.
Thank you, ma'am. Board committees.
Mr. President?
Yes.
Yeah, last week there was a safety committee meeting at the district level. This is a few days before what the tragedies are happening in our school district. And they started analyzing all aspects. But one thing we are advocating and participation from parents, which we will be routing through quite a few of your PTAs, whomsoever it is out there. Some of the recommendations, one parent, SJE, Sandra Gallardo parent mentioned about the door locks, and I was making notes sincerely on that one. Any opportunity we hear from the eyes and ears of the parents, in addition to the staff, we want to implement. So very soon, I think most of you will be hearing, and as Swanson said, we are going to be communicating through your parent square as well, because more participation, more measuring steps, more policies put together for the greater safety of our kids and schools. So it started, we have 4 more meetings to come at the district level for policy enhancements. I highly encourage parents' participation. Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't have a report necessarily on a committee, but just related to the safety committee. I would like to renew our request from the safety committee that actually came last year to add the 3rd SRO on both sides, mostly due to the fact that what happens is because of the schedules on Mondays and Fridays, we only have 1 covering on each side, not 2. And so that 3rd is really necessary. So I'd like to ask the superintendent if we could kick that back to the superintendent's budget advisory committee.
Absolutely.
To look at that from a budget perspective, because I have asked for this now for every year for 3 years. So I'd really like to see what we could do budget-wise to possibly add that back in, if we could, and bring it back to the board for review.
Yeah, and for the board and the community, the Superintendent Budget Advisory Committee is meeting roughly every 2 weeks for this entire year, addressing some of the budget challenges in each department is presenting. And so when Scott Meyer and Attendance and Due Process, which supports the Safety Committee, presents, we'll make sure that is part of that presentation as well for the Budget Advisory Committee to consider.
Perfect. And then one more for the Facilities Committee, if we could get an update on which schools have the fencing and the timeline for the future fencing on when that's going to be happening. Specifically, if we could look at Senator J. Colorado. So I know we'll be meeting next week on that, so if we can get an update on what that schedule looks like.
Have that schedule presented at the Facilities Committee meeting next Friday?
Yeah.
Yep, you got it.
Great, thank you.
Of course.
Could I piggyback on a couple of those things?
Yes.
The fencing also, there's been questions raised on Theater Judas too. So kind of a making sure that that's kind of addressed as well.
Yeah, I think it would be great if we could see which ones are, which ones aren't, and what the schedule timeline looks like for the ones that are on the balance.
And then secondly, in terms of the SROs potentially looking at if it ends up not being financially feasible for a SRO, looking at other possibilities in terms of what those could look like outside of the police department aligning with us. I think we've talked about it plenty of times, but.
So just for clarification, you will have an update on the fencing at the facilities meeting?
Yeah,
The timeline?
Facilities Committee meeting, the request that I heard is have the schedule, have all 37 of our school sites, have what has a fence, and then the calendar or the schedule if the schools that don't have a fence are on the calendar. Obviously, the funding mechanisms for those are required, often paid for by bond funds.
Yep, absolutely.
And so we will see, I'll share with the Facilities Committee meeting, which meets at 4 o'clock next Friday, October 24th.
Okay, and how soon can we get an update to the board at a public board meeting?
November 6th, I would say.
Works for me.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Add that.
Right, we'll move on to item 11, discussion, middle school math update. Superintendent?
Absolutely. I'd love to invite Angie Carlamano Andrade and Pam Oyen to the lectern to talk about middle school math. I just want to first start off by saying, giving my appreciation to these two fantastic educators who have done a ton of work on this, making sure we've engaged with all secondary school teaching staffs, making sure that, and you'll see in the slide deck, collecting data from almost 1,200 of our students, and also thanking the community for their clear and passionate communications last spring, because we did, from our initial rollout, make I would say, a significant amount of adjustments in our program. Because as Angie, I'm going to steal your thunder on this one statement that you said earlier, is our district is all about expanding excellence, not restricting it, and I think you're going to see that in this presentation. And I know there's a bunch of comments after it. So, teammates, go for it.
Good evening, Superintendent Swanson, Board President Clark, Board, good to see you this evening. I'm Angie Carlamano Andrade. I'm the Executive Director for Educational Services, and this is my partner.
Pam Oyen, the Director of Education Technology.
So this school year, our district introduced pathway options for our middle school mathematics, and these pathways allow our students to advance to higher level courses above their current grade level by demonstrating mastery on specific grade level standards. So we're pleased to offer advanced mathematical instruction to students who are excelling in their learning journey. We are a continuous improvement district, and we feel confident in our decision to align our math pathways in a non-subjective way. So these pathways allow our students to have access and opportunity to ambitious mathematical discourse. Last year, we took the challenge of redesigning the pathways for acceleration in middle school math. As you can see here, we've retired Course 1 honors at the end of last year. Course 2 honors will be retired at the end of this school year.
And by moving toward heterogeneous, mixed, readiness math classes, we're ensuring that all students have access to challenging, high-quality instruction. So this approach maintains high expectations, fosters rich peer learning, and increases opportunities for students to reach advanced math courses over time without harming our high achievers. As Superintendent Swanson said, our goal is to expand excellence, not restrict it. These pathways make sure every student has the chance to reach advanced mathematics, not just those pre-identified for an honors track, and it is a classroom-based pathway. Last year, we started with testing students who met established criterion with CASP and Renaissance, which is our district diagnostic. We later opened it up to any student to opt into the placement test. We also administered a placement test to all 6th and 7th grade students last spring. Students who showed mastery, which was 80% or higher on those grade level standards, they were moved into accelerated pathways of mixed grade level classes for this school year. So we're gonna fast forward now to spring of 2026, and this is our plan. It's to administer the placement test with all 5th grade students. It'll be comprised of 6th and 7th grade standards. Course 2 and Course 3 placement will be based on how students perform. It's important to note we give both tests so that students, so that we have equitable access and opportunity for those students. I would also like to note at this point that my curriculum and instruction team, we surveyed all of the middle school and high school math teachers in the district. We carefully reviewed that data, and then we met in person with middle school and high school teacher teams across the district to inquire about this pathways decision and to gather their information and their thoughts and feelings around that. In particular, we met with Sutter Middle, Folsom Middle, Vista, and Folsom High School. At this time, we have teacher consensus on the pathway process. So as you will see in the coming slides, students are thriving, and teachers are anecdotally reporting students are performing well academically and socially in these mixed grade level classes.
On this slide, we illustrate the potential pathways available to a student at middle school. Students will be taking placement tests at the end of their 5th, 6th, and 7th grade years. No matter the 6th grade course, students have opportunities to accelerate. I'd like to walk you through an example path for a student. If we have a student who enters 6th grade in course 2, which is 7th grade math, the next course in the sequence would be course 3, 8th grade math. But through the testing that will take place at the end of 6th grade, the student could potentially advance to integrated math 1 in 7th grade. Assuming this student is in integrated math 1 in 7th grade, the next course in the sequence would be integrated math 2, but they could potentially advance into integrated math 3 through testing at the end of 7th grade.
When I spoke with teachers, they understood the value of testing all of the students in 5th, 6th, and 7th grade, which allows ongoing opportunities for acceleration, as Pam is highlighted here.
Can we jump back a slide? I want to mention a couple things, Pam. I'm so sorry to interrupt. I want to make sure the board and the community knows that during the honors program prior to this, there were criterion, as Angie Carlamagno mentioned, around being able to simply walk in to take the placement test. In our current model, every single 5th grader in our district have an opportunity to take that test. So there is no gatekeeping on the front end for their math acceleration. Also, a lot of the parents made a lot of comments about math coming to students at different times, meaning they may start to blossom in their math passion or their math abilities beyond 5th grade. So I want to reiterate, because there's been a lot of misinformation going around in the community. I want to say it out loud right here, that students at the end of 5th grade, students at the end of 6th grade, and students at the end of 7th grade will all have an opportunity to accelerate, and there will be no gatekeeping for those students as well. We good on? Okay.
Can I ask a question really quick? What is the difference between math course 1 and honors in the previous honors course?
Is it in math course 1 and honors math course 1?
Yeah.
The difference was there was a criterion that students needed to meet going into that particular class, and they attempted to do some acceleration with standards in there.
Oh, okay, thank you.
On this slide, we want to illustrate some potential high school pathways. Based on an 8th grade course, you can see a possible progression here through senior year. If we go back to our sample student we were discussing on the previous slide who entered 6th grade in course 2, depending on their final middle school pathway, they would enter high school in either integrated math 2, integrated math 3, or even possibly pre-calculus, allowing them the opportunity to take calculus during their high school career.
I'm going to jump in quick on this one too, please. So that top blue row would be if a student is at grade level and does not pass any of the placement tests after their 5th grade year or at the end of their 5th, 6th, or 7th grade year, and does not challenge any courses in high school, because we do still have the opportunity for students to challenge courses. That's that top row. If you accelerate one grade level or one class in middle school or challenge one class in high school, you will get to calculus AB. There's a lot of misinformation out there. Students, whether it be the traditional 6-period day at Folsom High, the block schedule at Vista, or the 7-period IB schedule at Cordova High, which that threw me off because they don't have AB, or they don't have AP, they have IB coursework. But one grade, you will get to AB. One class, you'll get to calculus AB. 2, you get to BC. 3, you're going to get to BC your junior year and be able to take an additional math course. If we go back one slide to this slide, so that student is this one on the very bottom, this integrated math 3 student in 8th grade will be that bottom row on the next page, and then go up the block to the math 2, that's that second, that kid gets to a BC, that young amazing math student gets to BC, and then the row up gets to AB. So there is no such thing as students not being able to access Calc AB or BC unless you are absolutely on grade level and don't skip a class through this placement process or challenging a course in high school. You'll matriculate through every single content from course 1, course 2, course 3, to IM1, IM2, IM3, and pre-calc, and that'll be your math trajectory, and that's just that top row on the next slide, if you could get to that. Okay. There's just a little wait time for myself. Thank you so much. Yeah.
On this final slide, we want to share, as the district, when we make changes like the adjustments we've made to the acceleration pathways, we use data to guide the decision-making process and to monitor for our expected outcomes. For students who placed in accelerated coursework, we would expect that they are able to competently complete the coursework and want them to be able to engage successfully in the classroom. One metric we review is course grades, and for our accelerated 6th grade students, while it varies a little by course, we're currently seeing 92% or more of the accelerated 6th grade students with an A or a B. We also recently surveyed our 6th grade students and asked questions centered around their engagement and participation. The goal was to get a picture of how actively and confidently students are engaging in their math classes. We had 1,193 6th grade students complete the survey, which is roughly 70% of our 6th grade population. On the graph, mixed grade represents 6th grade students in classes with 7th and or 8th grade students, and single grade means that they are in a class with other 6th grade students. 52% of our 6th grade accelerated students are in mixed grade level classes. We can see that students in our mixed grade level classes as compared to their peers report at slightly higher percentage that they are comfortable asking questions, are understanding lessons, and feel confident sharing their ideas. While they indicate their willingness to work with others as slightly less than their peers, when we see 6th grade students who have just completed their first quarter in middle school reporting at over 80% in this category, it's a promising start to their middle school career. We will monitor progress through this school year and into future years, not only to ensure we're seeing our expected outcomes, but also to support ongoing continuous improvement.
And I just want to give a shout out to our teachers who are working through this. It was a pleasure to meet with them. And I just want to share a quick story from one of our teachers in Folsom. She teaches a class right now that has 6th and 8th grade students in it. And she skillfully put all of the 6th grade students in one group together at the start of the year because she was wanting to make sure that they were feeling comfortable in the class with 8th graders. And as of today, they are fully integrated and mixed and sharing rich discussions with all of them together in the class. So I just want to give a shout out to our teachers for working so hard to make sure that our students are supported.
Thank you, and we'd be happy to answer any questions.
All right. Any questions from the board? This is a discussion item, but I do understand that there are some public comments that folks are wanting to speak on, so I will open the floor for that.
Mr. President, one clarifying
Yes,
question for the
please.
public purpose. Pam, if you don't mind, maybe slide 4, just to repeat what you said also one more time. Yeah, so, I'm sorry, slide 3, one slide before. One more. Second and third bullet, we are retiring. Right? That's what everybody is reading. We are retiring. But the following slides, I know I spent a detailed length of discussions with Mr. Swanson. Once upon a time, I was a math teacher. So, yes, this starts with a negative tone. But as you move on the slides, even though the word honors, I know you're trying to explain, I'm getting it, but not getting it. Please, excuse me. So if it is in 6th grade, standard math, honors math. 7th grade, standard math or honor. I'm just making it up, the words, right? We are taking the honors math out as per these 2 bullets. But we are giving an opportunity to every 6th grader to challenge. They can go, not just the honors may be, this is where you have to help me. Honors may be equivalent to 7th grade math.
If we want to talk a little bit about like course 2 honors, so if a 6th grade student in past years entered at course 2 honors, the next class that we would expect them to go to would be integrated math 1. If a student this year tested at the level to enter in course 3, which means they have competence in 6th and 7th grade standards, instead of entering in a course called course 2 honors, they're entering in course 3, and the next class that they would take in 7th grade is integrated math 1.
Thank you. Thank you. So now we are giving them an opportunity. I mean, it's our passion. Everybody's passion here. Of course, you too. So give a challenge in every step of the way, every grade. One season they may be flu for some reason. The mind is not working well for that young minds. But it's okay. Survive that year. You can challenge next year. So by looking at, even if a smart kid in the senior year, he has nothing to do with math. That's what the slide shows, if you don't mind to go back to, a couple of, see?
Yes.
A smart kid in the senior additional math courses, they can go and explore the world, right? So we really want to make sure we are communicating to the parents. We're all passionate, like all the parents are. And we don't want to cut down anything for those advancing kids. Just like the way we invest in special need kids, the way we invest in sports and other things, this board is very serious investing on those high achievers.
Correct.
So I just want to repeat that. That's why, for my dumb head, I may be getting it or not, but I'm just speaking and digesting and sharing with the public. If they still have questions, that's a different question we can probably answer. Mr. President, thank you.
Any other questions before we take it out to the audience? Thank you, ladies. Appreciate it. All right, Ms. Rochelle, let's go.
Yes. First, we have Andrea Ryland, followed by Sarah Raj.
Didn't realize I'd go first, so we'll see how this goes all. And do I have a timer? Oh, gosh, help me. Okay. Thank you for the time here. I have a pretty amazing kid. He's kind, he is driven, he's smart, and this kid is dead set on pursuing medicine. Specifically, he wants to be a surgeon. What sixth grader already has decided that? I had nothing to do with this, I promise you. My goal here is to support him on that decision. And as we've already mentioned, AP Calculus or Calculus is really critical for him to pursue that in the future. I'm not pushing him, I just want to remove barriers. Okay, so as it's been stated already here today, the standard pathway as you march through the math classes is that you can't reach calculus unless you skip a grade, even for a child who has all A's. So someone who has demonstrated they were capable, they can't get to calculus unless you skip a grade. I do appreciate that the algorithm was amended to give this opportunity to skip each and every year. That is a huge improvement over what we saw last time. But that advancement, my understanding is it's still mostly dependent on this test, right? So in order to take the test and pass it, kids still have to be exposed to the material. How do they get exposed to this material? My sixth grader is at Sutter Middle School. I tried to have him skip ahead during the fifth grade placement test, and that didn't work out, unfortunately. So now he's in course 1, and he is so very, very bored. Okay, he is blazing through his material. He's the one teaching his classmates. And when he's talked to his teacher about this, the teacher tells him that me, the parent, has to send in worksheets for him to do in order for him to have something to work on. He's not learning new material in class. He is not being challenged at his level. So this idea that he's gonna be able to learn this material to pass this next test, now he's supposed to take a test to skip 7th grade, when he's not being given that material in class, how are these kids supposed to pass these tests that are being given every single year? I don't understand. We have many incredible parents in this room. We're all professionals. We're all very capable in our fields, but we're still not educators. I mean, it needs to be said, our teachers are the experts here. Our teachers should be the ones instructing our kids and helping our kids advance through these grades, not the parents, not outside tutors. It's our teachers. And so the easiest answer to me was what we used to have, accelerated classes, honors classes, because then an educator is the one who helped them skip years, not me, who's not, I am not qualified for this. So I beg you to create a pathway where any child can advance with the support of an educator, and that is independent of the means of the parent. I tried, and I could not help my student get ahead. So anyway, that's what I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Sarah Raj, followed by Angelica Christensen.
Good evening, everyone. Been here multiple times to advocate for our middle school kids. So you've heard me so many times talk about why we need to challenge our children to perform better. But a little bit about me is I worked in Intel in graphics architecture for 18 years and then CPU architecture in AMD. But today I thought I'll do something different. I went and spoke to a bunch of my son's friends through scouts, through sports, through his middle school friends, elementary school friends, from Mangini Ranch, Sutter Middle, Empire Oaks, and Russell Ranch. And so this is what each of them had to say, right? One of the kids said, honors English. I enjoy my work and it is not too hard, but I'm not at least bored. It's decently challenging. If there was no honors English, it would be way too easy. A child who's in course 1 math, curriculum is not challenging. It's relatively easy. The kids in my class who have trouble are the ones who have trouble reading. I am sometimes bored in math class. We haven't started learning anything new as yet. My son, who's in honors course 3, said math is super easy. Even the games she gives us are too easy. Mostly the entire class is done just over halfway through the class. Rest, we play games. We try to make the games competitive. And I am many times bored in my class. I have not learned anything new for this year. I wish they would let me go to IM1. I would love the chance and take it. And then I asked them if they like mixed classes, right, where you have sixth graders, seventh graders, eighth graders. They said mixed class is not an issue. Like band has mixed class right now, and no one has a problem with mixed class. So that was their response. And then social studies is apparently really fun. Not for me, but for them it is. Another child said on honors English, challenging and very interesting than in elementary school. They worked hard to get an A, and so they're so thrilled to be in that class. It kind of gives them that ability to, challenge themselves and find it more interesting. And they said mixed classes, they don't care. It would not matter because we have the same amount of learning. And I'm very proud that I'm in course 3 and honors English, and there is no difference. And we all worked hand in hand and well.
30 seconds remaining, please.
So another child said for science continues for me to be a good challenge. I like science right now. It's not very complicated and it's a good thing, but it's a big jump from elementary school and I like it. But there was another child who said, our science teacher is very nice and we're doing things that are really nice, but it does get a little boring because we know a lot of that stuff. So it would be nice to also have an honors option. So thank you guys for listening to us and providing a good opportunity for our children. Thank you.
Thank you. Angelica Christensen, followed by Abraham Alex.
Good evening again. My youngest is a third grader at Folsom Hills. My middle one is an eighth grader at Folsom Middle School who's in honors since he's been, honestly, fourth grade. He was in a combo and he's been honors ever since. He's in IM1 now, and I have a junior at Vista. I grew up in an underserved and underrepresented community on the border of Compton and Long Beach, and I attended Long Beach Jordan High School. Let me tell you, I was not prepared for the STEM courses at the United States Military Academy at West Point, where every cadet graduates with a Bachelor of Science and an engineering emphasis. I had to work twice as hard to bridge the gaps that existed in my education. My sons want to pursue even more. And after honorably serving our country, I chose to settle in Folsom because I wanted my children to have the strong public education that I didn't. Folsom is unique in that 80% of our population is college educated. Families here deeply value learning, and we expect our district to cultivate opportunities for academic growth, not limit them. What is a sticking point for me is that when the initiative to remove honors math began, there is no meaningful input from teachers, parents, or students, the people most directly affected. That should always be step one. If lack of teachers or budget shortfalls are the true issues, be transparent so we can work as a team. Let me remind you, you work for us, not the other way around. Our taxpayer dollars and our votes have given you permission to represent our needs and our values. The lack of collaboration is concerning and undermines the trust. A town hall meeting, not a brief board discussion, is long overdue for this critical dialogue. I very much enjoyed the first one that you had, Superintendent. And frankly, if the district is looking for priorities, campus safety and active shooter preparedness deserve more attention than dismantling academic opportunity. Research consistently shows that when students are challenged at their individual learning levels, they're more motivated, engaged, and less likely to develop behavioral issues. They maintain their curiosity and love for learning. Removing honors math and English risks disengagement, frustration, and boredom among students who are ready for more. If the goal is equity, then let's focus on true equity, giving every student what they need to succeed. That means smaller class sizes in elementary school, more individualized attention and early identification of strengths and weaknesses. Removing honors math and English options at middle school level sends the wrong message. It punishes students for excelling and does nothing to lift up those who need additional support. Instead, the district should focus on solutions that expand opportunities for all students, partnering with nonprofits, business partners, Folsom PTOs that often raise $40,000 to $50,000 that could provide after-school enrichment programs, reducing class sizes, or reconsidering the placement of sixth grade back to elementary school setting where students can receive the foundational attention they need before entering middle school. Removing advanced pathways, I'm almost done, doesn't promote equity, it lowers the ceiling for everyone. Our children are growing up in a world driven by artificial intelligence and rapidly changing technology. They'll face challenges we can't yet predict. This is not the time to take away opportunities for higher learning. It's a time to expand them. Do not remove honors classes. Removing options is not equity, it's limitation. Let's instead direct our focus toward addressing where FCUSD is falling short and provide more, not fewer pathways for students
Thank you,
to
Ms.
reach their full
Christensen.
potential. Thank you.
I want to briefly say something. First of all, thank you for your service. Secondly, there's no conversations about elimination of honors English. I don't know how that's in the airstream. Superintendent of the district, there's no reduction. I'm here correcting it because I think you're the third person to comment. First of all, the young person who came to speak earlier about that, she was brilliant. Is she still here? Homework. She was amazing. I just wanted to reassure the community as we're keeping hearing that. I want to put that to bed. I'm not supposed to comment after it, but first I wanted to thank you for your service and I wanted to make sure we corrected the record for that. Yeah.
Next, we have student Abraham Alex. Please come to the podium.
Hello, school board, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak here. I am Abraham Alex, and I am here to provide a comment regarding my personal experience of the middle school accelerated math pathway. I'm an 8th grader at SMS, and I went through IM1 and IM2 in 6th and 7th grade, challenged IM3, and am now currently in pre-calculus. Being in the accelerated pathway has allowed me to become a more confident student in math. Through this pathway, I have and currently am being challenged by new topics that are on par with my capabilities, which has allowed me to improve and grow my skills overall. These analytical skills help me in my daily life as well as in other subjects due to their diverse use cases. And my social life has been unaffected. Removing honors math and mandating course 3 for incoming 6th graders would prevent them from experiencing the same, as well as prevent them from obtaining the same higher level of knowledge. I hope that the board will reconsider their decision to revise this program for the students who want to push their limits in mathematics. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Kip Bauman, followed by Nicole Heine.
My name is Kip Bauman, and I've been a Sutter Middle School math club coach for the past couple of years. I'm not the best at articulating my words, so most of the time I'll be reading off this paper, which my daughter was so kind to review and edit the vast majority of for me. The FCUSD education system has elevated her literacy and comprehension far above my own. Both of my kids have been excellent, had an excellent education at the Academy of Theodore Judah Elementary School, Sutter Middle School, and now Folsom High School. My daughter is currently in Mr. Shio's truly amazing calculus AB class as a junior. In her own words, I believe his class should be available to everyone who's interested in taking it. The concepts are so cool, and he doesn't just teach the math, he also teaches the problem solving behind it. That applies to so much more than just equations and variables. Additionally, while still attending 8th grade at Sutter Middle School, my son is thriving in Mr. Chin's IM3 class during period 0 at Folsom High School. They both worked so hard to get to where they are, and they're both engaged and enthusiastic in the level they are at. Regarding the Sutter Middle School Math Club, I had over 100 students try out for the club this year. Many of these students are gifted, enthusiastic, and truly love to expand their understanding of these fields with their peers in this program. They consistently collaborate and work together to solve challenging problems. Their efforts have not been fruitless either. Our math team has won first place in the Math Counts Sacramento area chapter every year since joining the competition 4 years ago. One student even advanced all the way to the national competition as an individual. Nearly all of these students were taking advanced math classes at either Folsom High School or Sutter Middle School, the very same classes which are no longer available per current FCUSD regulations. I have worked with several incoming 6th graders over the past couple of years who are fully capable of taking IM1 or higher based on testing, but were blocked from doing so by FCUSD policy. While the current middle school math path for 6th graders starting at course 3 may be sufficient for the majority of students, many advanced students are being held back from reaching their full potential. Pushing our students to conform to one singular academic level will only oppress those who could progress and inaccurately advances those who are less fluent in the material. Students, whether objectively gifted or not, should not be able to learn at their own pace, not the pace which they should be able to learn at their own pace. not the pace which their parents or the school district believe is right. There is no reason that the instruction which works best for them should be
30 seconds remaining.
be restricted until a certain age. As teachers, I believe that you are doing the best doing this with your students' best interest in mind. You would know better than anyone else that each student is different in their personality, different in their interests, and different in their learning ability. All we are asking the district to see each student as an individual rather than each grade as a whole. We are asking that the district give our students equal opportunity rather than equal education. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Baumann. Nicole Heine, followed by Shirlika.
I apologize for saying math in my previous statement. I got a little excited. So a couple things. Honors math is accelerated class. It takes 1.5 or 2 years of math and teaches it in 1 year. And that has been the pathway for a lot of our students because they test into those classes. They then get to condense 2 years into 1, and then that's how they are ahead on that continuing pathway to calculus. One thing I feel like we're missing, we never had any numbers. We never had this many people pass the test and there's this many 6th graders passed, or this many people in the year before took this honors class. I feel like what might happen is we might get to the point where there's only 12 or 18 students in a calculus class, and then the district can't have that class because that class is no longer full and we can't afford to have a non-full class. There were lots of changes and collapsing of math classes at Sutter this year based on teachers that were teaching 6 periods instead of 5, and the district not wanting to pay their salaries. Anyway, these students that are speaking, Abraham was in my pre-calculus class today. I taught a Folsom High 0 period. We learned how to derive the law of cosines. We didn't memorize the law of cosines. We learned how from Pythagorean theorem, a basic thing that most everybody learns, they can get to the point where they can find that law without memorizing it. And that's the kind of thinking that our calculus program excels at. I guess one question I had was whether if 6th grader comes in, we said they could test, could they be put in IM1? They're only being tested on their 6th and their 7th grade talents, math. Will they go on, or can they be tested on 8th grade? Can they be tested? I don't know where that stops, but we definitely have a lot of students that are not only 2 years ahead in math. Let's see. Also, just a note, when you survey the students, make sure you put in one of those, like, are you paying attention questions? My 7th graders said their favorite thing to do on student surveys is hit number 4 for all of the answers. So just for future, you might want to check on that. I guess expanding excellence to me cannot be the same as removing the guidance of teachers in this material. It is not equitable to have it available at Vista and not at Folsom High just because of where they live. And I'll leave that, and I hope that you guys do the right thing by making it available to everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Shrutika, followed by Matt Wagner.
Good evening, board. Thank you for the opportunity for me to speak here. I'm Shrutika. I am an engineer by heart, engineer by profession, so math is very important in my family. And let me give you a little background. I have an elementary school child in Tierra Judah on the GATE pathway, and I have a middle schooler in Sutter Middle School. What happened last year with my then elementary school older child was he had to test once or twice to determine his entire pathway for middle school. That left an impression on my 4th grader, now 4th grader, that she is working hard, and she tells me, Mom, this is her words, Mom, I want to work hard and get all A's and be qualified so I can take the test that my brother took and I can take the same course 3 pathway and be on the course 3 pathway. First of all, thank you for making it easy for any child to take those tests at 5th, 6th, and 7th and 8th grades. So thank you for doing that. That takes the pressure. This is coming from a lot of emotion. It takes the pressure off my fourth grader, just a 9-year-old. She doesn't understand the system. She doesn't know what builds the system, but she clocked that she had to work hard at her level to get to the pathway her brother is on. But thank you for giving her the opportunity now to test. My request, please don't change it again. We just want you to stay with the plan. Give every child the opportunity. Please don't let something like this come back to the board meeting again. We are a lot of passionate parents here who are fighting for our children today. It would be amazing if my children don't have to worry about these policies. Just another comment on continuous improvement, which you guys made, and thank you for making that. History Day, state level, speech and debate, Science Olympiad, Math Olympiad, Destination Imagination. I'm naming a few of these things that some of the academically gifted children are doing outside of the school and winning awards, not at just district level, state level, and nationals. Please take the opportunity to recognize who they are and also bring them out here and honor them. I would very appreciate it if I could see my child out here. Not just a sports team. I get it. There's a lot of sports investment and lots of hurrah behind it. But these kids also deserve the recognition. Thank you again.
Thank you. Matt Wagner, followed by Elena Wagner. And note for the record, Matt is a student.
Okay, hello, my name is Matthias Wagner, and I am a 4th grade student, and I love math. And I feel like students should not be held back from being able to take honors classes when they excel in their classes, and we should not keep students from being able to take these honors classes if they feel like they can do it and they pass the test. We should not take that. And that's kind of all I have to say. And I know there's multiple other kids in my class who actually want to take these tests. So there's multiple kids in my class who can do this. And I just don't want to keep these chains stopping kids from being able to take honors classes. Thank you.
Thank you. Elena Wagner, followed by student Shade Williams.
Hello, my name is Shade Williams, and I'm a 6th grader at FMS. After I finished my 5th grade at Mangini, I was very excited to be in honors. Math is my favorite subject, and I was getting bored of it in elementary school. I had the chance to take the test to advance in math and skip 6th grade, and I was happy to skip it. I'm very happy that I got the chance to take a higher level math, and I would have been bored if I did not get the chance. It's very important that the other kids have the same opportunity, and I want to study higher math in high school, and it may be easier to get into a competitive college. Please do not remove our chance to take a math class that matches what we were able to do. Thank you.
Thank you. Elena Wagner, followed by student Arush.
I am not a student. I only need 3 minutes. So my son's brain works differently than my brain. I am not a math-minded person. I'm more of an English, history, journalist type person. But just because I don't understand his gifts, passions, and talents doesn't mean that I can't advocate for them to be honored as his mother. You know, that's our number one job as parents, is to advocate for our children and to make it possible for them to pursue the things that are important to them. When we're making these adjustments, similar to the other parents, I appreciate that we're increasing access to those tests by not just making it every single year, but just having every student take the test. I think that's how we address the equity concern, as opposed to expecting a parent to know how to take the test, to know how to sign up for the test, to know how to prepare their child, right? That's the impediment. And so I think that's really probably the only change that we realistically need to do. just in terms of like access to the materials and parents teaching versus students, again, I'm not a math brained person. I do have to pay for my son to go to a math tutor. Obviously, not every parent has that availability in our district, right? We have a whole array of families and students and finances that people have, when you're young. Sometimes you don't make as much as when you're older, and sometimes you lose your job because you're too expensive of an employee later, right? So, our situations can change, but what should not change is access to these opportunities in the classroom for every single student. To me, there's no difference in an advanced math class, an advanced English class, an orchestra class, an advanced art class, junior varsity or varsity. I have never heard any student complain, myself included in school, when I was with an older grade or had younger students in my grade. I took advanced science class. 1 year I took honor science in high school, was my freshman year, and there were seniors in my class. No problem at all. Same thing, I took dance class. There was freshmen, sophomore, junior, seniors in the class. It was of no harm. I am no longer school age, and so I talked with a neighbor who has a 7th grade daughter at Folsom Middle, and I asked her, I said, is in your class, I said, do you have any 6th graders in there? And she goes, yeah, we have a few. And I said, is that weird? She goes, not really. Like I said, is anybody mean to them? Do they bully them? Is there any kind of like issue you think they don't feel like they fit in? She said, not really. She's like, it's kind of funny when they run to their classes at the beginning of the year because they haven't figured out they actually have time to get to and from classes between bells. But she was very clear, there's no bullying and everyone is like very kind to them.
30 seconds remaining, please.
Thank you. Generally speaking, like significant adjustments to curriculum like this really kind of give me pause because it seems more like it's kind of pop science educational theories being tested on our children when we have things that are working fine with slight adjustments, like the every year testing and having every child test. That is really distracting. You should probably turn that down. I just might comment that the rumor of elimination of honors English might be related to other media reports and stories about how in other districts, they may not start with math, they might start with science or English, but they then cut one and they don't stop at one.
Thank you, Ms. Wagner.
Thank you.
Next, we have student Arush, followed by Jeff Powell.
Good evening, educators, administrators, and curriculum leaders. I am Arush, an eighth grader doing pre-calculus who strongly supports keeping a higher level math system. Before I begin, I want to make one thing clear. I'm going to be focusing what I'm talking about tonight mostly on Course 2 honors and how that specific course is beneficial. But I do want to say that for whether you're more advanced or you're doing grade level, all courses are very important to all students across the district. But specifically on Math Course 2 honors, I want to first talk about the structure in our middle school math curriculum. So we have 3 core courses, Course 1, 2, and 3. Course 1 introduces ratios, fractions, decimals, one-step equations. And Course 2 deepens that understanding with rational numbers, percent problems, multi-step equations, and geometry. And Course 3 transitions students into abstract reasoning with functions, systems of equations, transformations, and the Pythagorean theorem. One thing I do want to note is Course 3 introduces a lot of higher level IM1 concepts that not every student will get. But a lot of students will feel like Course 2 will be a bit not as challenging as they would prefer. That's why I believe that keeping Course 2 honors, not for like the honors label, but more so because of how it combined Course 2 and Course 3 for students who feel pretty confident in Course 1 and are pretty good in Course 2, but not quite the level that they can do Course 3. This is a good median. And it covers Course 2 and Course 3 in 1 year without skipping any standards, rather than it just compacts the standards. And doing Course 2 honors in 6th grade is a way for most students, again, some goes at a slower pace, some go at a faster pace, but for most students to be ahead with math without skipping higher level math classes. Because these, I have experience. I skipped IM3. I will say it's definitely much easier if you skip course 1 rather than IM3. And like giving the opportunity to skip those courses. I mean, I'm not complaining about the opportunity to skip higher courses. I'm saying like focusing more on skipping those lower courses will keep comprehension better, and still keep students on a higher pathway. And yeah, the California Mathematics Framework supports the approach of compacting it. By in chapter 9 it says acceleration should not involve skipping content but rather compacting it. Students must master grade level standards before moving ahead. And course 2 honors does exactly that. It ensures students are challenged, not rushed. It prepares them for integrated math 1 in 7th grade, integrated math 2 in 8th grade, and so on. But yeah, I again want to say that it's not about choosing one path over another.
30
It's
seconds
about
remaining,
having
please.
more paths for all the diverse levels of understandings that all the students in our district have. Yeah, so one more thing, the skipping challenge tests are great, but I want to know like how will the district schools be able to prepare students for challenge tests? Like will the students have to like do outside private tutoring, which not many can afford? But yeah, that's
Thank
much.
you. Jeff Powell, followed by Earl Smith.
Good evening, President Clark, board members, Superintendent Swanson. My name is Jeff Powell. Here with my 7-year-old daughter tonight, but she's a little shy to come up here. I'm here to speak about preserving our district's math program. Our math program isn't just about skipping grades and advancing students. It's about meeting every child where they are and pushing them to their full potential. When students are appropriately challenged, they stay engaged, develop critical thinking skills, and build the confidence needed for college and career success. I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. The data speaks clearly. Students in honors programs show higher achievement scores, stronger problem-solving abilities, increased STEM career interest. In our increasing technology-driven economy, we cannot afford to limit opportunities for students ready to excel in mathematics and other courses. The path presented in the previous presentation appears to me as it left the parents out of the process as a key stakeholder for understanding and input. I urge you to engage parents before making these decisions in these programs while simultaneously strengthening support for systems for all students. From the show of attendance and concern tonight, it appears this should be reevaluated to achieve apparent support before final implementation. Thank you for your time, and thank you for commitment to all FCUSD students.
Thank you. Mr. Smith?
I'm sorry, but Mr. Swanson, I'm not buying it. You say that this district excels. You haven't done that for Faith. She made it UCLA Global Jazz Summer Camp. That's exclusive, performing at that level. Mr. Reed said that you were not going to address her on these issues. Here she is a senior. Every year she's been denied the opportunity to excel in the instrument of her choice and the subject matter of her choice, being jazz violin. Now, it's not just you, Mr. Swanson, because this is going on before you. It still comes down to the fact that we have an English person in charge who's running the committee advisory committee. And now I'm learning that the board members don't attend because obviously they have work. And it happens during the day. I'm sorry, but what I'm seeing, this is not a district that really promotes the students who really want to excel, because you haven't done that for us. How many times have I met with you? How many times have I met with Dr. Huber? The CDE, I did not even mention or even show the CDE standards. You guys are bound by those standards. And yet you refuse to put your hand in the situation that, based on the standards, allowed Faith to play violin. It's the same thing with these kids. It makes sense. If a child is in a class that's accelerating, they will get the required material so they can be prepared for a test. What you guys presented makes no sense to me. Absolutely none. And I'm sorry, but the last week of everything that's gone on, I'm like, geez, I should have not moved to Folsom. But at the same time, I'm a person who advocates for children. So I can't turn a blind eye. So now I'm stuck in a dilemma. Should I run for board? So I can be, since I don't work during the day, I can go to this committee. I can voice the parents. How many board members? I know you guys got flooded with emails and text messages and so forth this week, but I also know you guys can only do so much. You have to have a stronger team, a team that specializes in this area. Because the two ladies here, I don't know what your background education is, but I know Dr. Huber is not in this, it's English. And I thought that was a smart move to hire. And I talked to Mr. Reed about the district's plan. I think that was a smart move, but you got to have specialists in here. And when you have a teacher come up here and tell you the teachers weren't consulted with, the parents weren't consulted with, and you guys made this radical change. There's a little Indian boy in my apartment community. I feel sorry that kid is sad because he missed out on that opportunity this year because of what was done. So I'm sorry, I'm gonna call you guys out on it.
Thank you, Mr. Smith.
Thank you.
President Clark, that's all of our comments.
All right, thank you, ma'am. I appreciate that. And we'll go to item 12. It's informational items only. It will not be discussed. It's for the board's information only. If the board deems it necessary to bring it to the agenda as a discussion item, they may do so. So with that being said, we'll move on to the superintendent's report.
Thank you, sir. And thanks again to the community for coming out and advocating for their most precious assets, their students. I only have one brief thing to share this evening related to our district. It was a report that was shared in the B, and thank you, Trustee Larrett, for sharing it with me yesterday. Had an opportunity to share this in a couple meetings today. It reads, the data show only 2 of Sacramento County's 6 major school districts are outperforming the state average in terms of students meeting California ELA and math standards. Folsom Cordova Unified and Elk Grove Unified. Folsom Cordova Unified soared above the state average by about 11 percentage points in each category. And we're first in the county. And this doesn't happen without our amazing teachers, our amazing leaders, our amazing classified staff that prepare our schools every single day, and definitely our families, right? And all of your support. So I just am humbled and proud to be the superintendent of this district and mean what I say in making sure that we're adding opportunities for our students to excel, not limiting them. So that is all for my report today.
All right, thank you, sir. Board member reports. We'll start off with our student board members. Student board member Evelyn.
Yes. So earlier I forgot to mention for committee reports, but on last Thursday we had the Safety Advisory Committee meeting, and apart from discussing the fences and all that, something that I liked was that we were discussing the issue of nicotine and tobacco use and how that's really important. And then it was nice to have 2 of our SAB members show up, and so we're gonna work with the student board members to make sure we get more student involvement in that committee because their voice is very important. At Cordova, today we actually have a college fair that I sadly had to miss, but we had over 40 colleges and universities, trade schools, and military academies. And then the past week was homecoming week. Juniors took first place in the floats with the theme of The Nightmare Before Christmas. And shout out to them because it's their 2nd year winning in a row, beating the seniors who took 2nd place. But the seniors did win overall spot for homecoming week. We also won our rally, and then we also had Lancer Olympics, food day, and then our special football game where we had KCRA 3 show up
and the helicopter made a grand entrance. It was so cool. It was so exciting to see. We also had our amazing teddy bear toss where we had the cheerleaders hold like blankets in their cheer stance, and people were able to throw the teddy bears. We had royalty announcements of, homecoming royalty, the alumni parade, and then of course our classes floats showcase. And I would just like to give shout outs to, the Rancho Cordova mayor, Siri Pulipati, for showing up because she actually voted on the floats as well. And then student government and ASB because I know we worked really, really hard, went to sleep really, really late after float building Monday through Friday, and we all had homework after school. So it was just, I know we were all crazy. And our activities director, Mr. Krieger, for helping us out and just being major support to all of us. And that's all I have.
I just wanted to thank really quickly all the parents and all the students who came out today and spoke in public comment. It was very impactful hearing everyone's voices and everyone's opinions, and I'm excited to champion all of them and talk more to my school specifically. I know there's a lot of stuff going on at Vista right now, and I just wanted to let them know that I'll talk to our principal and also the students there and get their input. Some updates about Vista. So unexpectedly this week, I noticed at Vista, there was a lot more students in the cafeteria recently, and that's because Vista got a new food item. It was fresh basil pesto pizza, and every single kid was obsessed with it. Like, the line was so long. I took a photo of it. It was really funny. But whatever department helped us get this new food item, I'm just letting you know, Vista strongly approves of it and they don't want to let it go. It's run out. The pizza has run out, and kids will be in line and they'll be like, oh no, I can't get it. So that was something really funny that happened at my school this week, and it was that was funny. And this past week, Vista celebrated Filipino Heritage Week with lots of lunchtime activities, which was very cool to see. And today I unfortunately have to miss a powder puff game, but it's basically a girls flag football game where the freshmen and seniors are on one team and the sophomores and juniors are on another team, and they compete against each other and help raise awareness for breast cancer. So that was very cool. And then Vista next week has Wellness Week coming up, which is a whole spirit week that's dedicated to raising awareness about overall student well-being. So we have different themes each day, and I know Wednesday is, because that's the day that my club is participating in, Wednesday is nature and wellness in the outdoors. And so they have lunchtime activities throughout the whole week, highlighting different clubs to celebrate that, so that's exciting. And then lastly, my AP Gov class, and just the AP Gov classes in general, have started their civic action projects, and that is where students get to think of something that they want changed at their school or even at their school district, and across the next 8 weeks of our semester, they get to pursue that change and talk to admin, talk to people who have the power to make change, and kind of get their initiatives put forth. So it's really exciting to hear the things that students are interested in changing, and I even got to give some input with the students in my class and my AP Gov teacher about things about coming to speaking in public comment and giving them the board meeting calendar schedule so that they know to come to that. But yeah, some things that students are interested in changing at Vista are that they want no parents in the student parking lot. People are really annoyed about that. Some people wanted dividers in the boys' bathroom between the urinals. They also want Uber Eats and DoorDash at school. So a lot of random things, but it's really cool just to see the things that students are interested in. So yeah.
Right, thank you. Board Member Charlin?
Yes, sir. I just want to echo what Keith mentioned during his comments. This week is Administrators Week. So I want to, from my right to all the way, Keith, you can pass this to every administrator in our 36 schools serving 22,000 kids. So our motto is safe, high quality education, and keep the FC way all the way on the top. And you guys are the number one chiming people in support of our teachers and the supporting staff as well, custodial. So please pass my sincere thank you and appreciation for every administrator in our district. Just to touch on the parents, thank you again, parents. I was making quite a bit of notes as well. I know our president mentioned whether this subject can come back as an agenda item. I think we will discuss it at the end. But for sure, though, few things I think in my mind, engaging and involving more parents' participation, communication. We got the mixed bag here. And one thing is consistent in that comments is, I think we has to communicate, over-communicate at times. So that's what, my takeaway here. I'm just taking it. But again, there is always room for improvement. And thank you for coming and speaking to us as well. Sir. Yes, and parents and teachers, thank you. Yes, always open for listening. And the next one is, I know I visited Gallardo on that day morning, sending them, whatever the, my strength to them, protecting our kids up there. And I spoke to the cops as well. So they are in a very high vigilance mode. I just want to, communicate my sincere appreciations to our safety team as well as Folsom PD. I heard the first speaker was saying, yes, there is a room for improvement in the faster communication. We got it. They are your precious babies in the classrooms. So we have to take, more serious notes on those as well. And this is a quick request. I know I'm trying to help some of our secondary schools because they are 1,600, 1,700, 2,000 kids in that. Egress, ingress, drop off time and pick up time. I sincerely want parents to, pay attention and don't check your cell phones, please, when the little ones are walking in front of your car. We are trying to recruit some volunteer parents or seniors, who can be, holding the whistle and getting the driver's attention. So if anybody is interested here or listening to, please, talk to me. At least I'll start with me and working with you, and I'll go through the district's process to get you guys on board, because safety is a number one thing, at least in me for this year as my personal. And last one, I know a couple of people were talking about the culture and celebrations. This weekend is going to be the Diwali. So I'm a proud Hindu practicing immigrant in this country. And this is going to be for all the people who are celebrating the Diwali. I know you dress up nice, right? And you cook very well. I know my wife is the witness for last 29 years. And also the sweets, right? So I shared with my buddies here. Here is my request to all the people who are celebrating. This town has 25% of the population who celebrates Diwali. Don't celebrate alone. Dress up, take the sweet box, walk to the neighbor's door who are not celebrating the Diwali. Spend few minutes, share your joy. We need to, engage, educate, and build that relationship. So this is a call for all those 25% of the both cities' population who are celebrating Diwali. Step out, celebrate with your neighbors. With that, thank you again, and good night.
Right, Board Member Laird.
I don't have too much, but actually, YK and I did go to the Diwali Festival on Sunday night, which was really, really cool. And it was really fun watching all of our students dress up and dance on stage. And it was a really cool experience. And it was super, super fun. And Board Member Clark was there as well. So we actually had several of us that were there. Homecoming was awesome, and I just want to give a shout out to all the teachers, all the administrators who work on homecoming week. It is a huge week. It is very tiring for them, but each and every homecoming is like very awesome, and the kids are so excited about it. It was really cool at Cordova. There was like not a seat available, so that was pretty cool. And just a shout out to Lancer Nation, who have been doing an amazing, tremendous job of getting the kids excited about the theme nights. I mean, we've had Western night, and they had all the cheerleaders in cowboy hats, which was really cool. This last week was Pink Out, so we had a lot of fans in pink, which was really, really cool too. So great job to that team. Their influence has been tremendous, and we see a marked difference in attendance at games and different things like that. So I cannot overstress the importance of the student voice when it comes to school culture, and really the influence that they have on that. And thank you to all of our families and students that came out. Every time our students come up to the microphone, it's just an amazing experience to watch them. Some of them are just so well-spoken. I'm always like just blown away by it. So our math friend over here, who really explained the whole math program, was very eloquent. So, I mean, I think he may have explained it almost as good as anyone else. So other than that, that's it for me.
Right, thank you, ma'am. Board Member Lofthouse.
I'm not going to repeat what everybody else has said, so I have no report this evening.
Thank you.
But happy Diwali. Okay.
Yes. Thank you, ma'am. In closing, I just want to thank Madam Veep for taking over and running the first part of the meeting. I appreciate that, and I apologize for being a little late. I actually had an opportunity to participate in a fireside chat to talk about the state of education. And one of the things that they asked me about, and I think for the last 9 years, people know how passionate I am about special ed. And I don't want to make it political, because I know there's the cuts up in Washington that are going to harm our special ed babies, but it cannot happen here. And I refuse to let that happen here. And it's a hill that I will die on, and I will go to CSBA and I will talk and advocate for our special ed kids. It's important to me, because what's next is our Title I. And I don't want those kids to be left out of the loop. It's not fair. We talk about equity all the time. Those kids are going to be punished. Sorry, I get a little emotional when I talk about that, because, again, it's important to me. I do want to apologize from the last meeting. It's something that I should have known better, and I shouldn't have done. But when I wanted to recognize our heroes, I mentioned the student's name, and I shouldn't have mentioned that. But I was so proud the way that that student reacted to that situation. I wanted him to be celebrated. I wanted his name out there, and it's something that I shouldn't have done. So to the parents out there, if you're listening, I apologize fully for that, because I shouldn't have said his name in a public forum. I should have asked for their permission. But believe you me that he will be recognized. The certificate's right here. So again, charge that to my head, not my heart. To our students at Cordova, I apologize. Normally homecoming is one of my favorite events at Cordova that I like to go to, that and their senior breakfast. But unfortunately, I couldn't make it. I just been traveling, and one thing I do, I hate those day trips where you got to fly down to LA and then fly back the same day. It's brutal. But trust me, I will be at Cordova visiting and saying hi to your students as well as Vista. So with that being said, hopefully we move on, we move forward, we look at the data and what we have as far as the fencing for the schools. It needs to get done. We need to protect our babies. With that being said, that'll be it for me. We'll move on to advanced planning. Superintendent.
Yeah, next board meeting is November 6th, so 3 weeks from today.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
12-month board calendar.
There for your review.
Sir. And over to suggested future agenda items. Hearing none. All right, thank you. Anything else for the good of the order? We will not be going back into closed session. Anything from the board for the good of the order?
Mr. President, I just want to thank Mr. Reed. You know, he is one of those orchestrator to bring the math and educate the parents. You know, he was, of course, we're all supported. I just want to call him. He's not here tonight, but you know, it is one of his initial attempt to come and educate our parents and talk about the math paths. So I just want to recognize David on that concept. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anything else? All right, meeting's adjourned.